BCOM, BBA, BCA, BSc Open Elective Subject. We've solved question paper 2024 February, March. Political Science. India and Indian Constitution. I. All the questions are compulsory. 10x1 equals 10. 1. When was the Constitution of India adopted? A. 26 November 1949. B. 26 January 1950. C. 26 November 1946. D. 26 January 1948. Answer. 26 November 1949. 2. Tenure of Rajya Sabha. A. 6 years. B. 5 years. C. 7 years. D. 4 years. Answer. 6 years. 3. Present Speaker of Lok Sabha. A. Om Birla. B. M. Tambi Dori. C. Meera Kumari. D. Balaram Jakhar. Answer. Om Birla. 4. Constituent Assembly of India was formed on the recommendation of which commission? A. Cripps Commission. B. Cabinet Commission. C. Simon Commission. D. Morley Reforms. Answer. B. Cabinet Commission. 5. Chairman of the Drafting Committee of the Constituent Assembly. A. Jawaharlal Nehru. B. Bapu Rajendra Prasad. C. K. M. Munshi. D. Drive. B. R. Ambedkar. Answer. D. Drive. Bridge. Ambedkar. 6. Who calls the joint session? A. Vice President. B. Speaker of Lok Sabha. C. President. D. Speaker of Rajya Sabha. Answer. C. President. 7. Which articles of Indian Constitution relates to fundamental rights? A. 14 to 32. B. 12 to 35. C. 14 to 35. D. 12 to 32. Answer. B. 12 to 35. 8. Which article deals with the national emergency? A. 352 article. B. 354 article. C. 356 article. D. 360 article. 9. Which part of the Constitution of India elaborates on the directive principles of state policy? A. 3 part. B. 2 part. C. IV part. D. V part. Answer. C. IV part. 10. Under the Citizenship Act, 1955, by which of the following ways can a person become a citizen of India? A. By birth. B. By descent. C. By registration. D. All of the above. Answer. D. All of the above. Part B. 2. Answer any 5 of the following questions in not more than 60 words. 5x5 equals 25. 11. Explain the structure of Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is called the upper house of parliament, or the council of states. The members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of state legislative assemblies. The total members of Rajya Sabha consist 245 members, in which 12 members are directly nominated by President and other 233 members by indirect method. The total term of Rajya Sabha members is 6 years and it is also called as permanent house. Qualifications of the members of Rajya Sabha. He must be a citizen of India, must have attained the age of 30 years. He must not hold any office of profit. He must be having other qualifications as prescribed by the parliament. Powers and functions of Rajya Sabha. Legislative functions. All ordinary bills can be originated in Rajya Sabha except money bill. Both houses of parliament enjoy co-equal powers on ordinary legislation. When there is a disagreement between both houses, then the president holds a joint session. So, then the bill has to be passed by majority of members of both the houses present and voting. Then it will be forwarded to assent of president. Financial functions. The Rajya Sabha does not enjoy any powers on financial matters. Money bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. After money bill passed in Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha has to give its acceptance within 14 days of sent for considering the bill. Judiciary functions. The Rajya Sabha can conduct inquiry into the impeachment moves made against the president, vice president, judges of both Supreme and High Court and Chief Election Commissioner. Election power. The members of the Rajya Sabha participate in election of the President, Vice President of India and Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Executive power. The Rajya Sabha is empowered to control the executive as a king question. But the Rajya Sabha is not empowered to dismiss the government officials. 12. Explain the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India is one of the powerful courts anywhere in the world. However, it functions within the limitation imposed by the Constitution. The Supreme Court has specific jurisdiction or scope of powers. Jurisdiction of Supreme Court or powers and functions of Supreme Court. Original power. Original jurisdiction of the court refers to a matter for which the particular court is approached first. In the case of the Supreme Court in India, its original jurisdiction is covered under Article 131. It involves the following cases. I. Any dispute between the Indian government and one or more states. E. Any dispute between the Indian government and one or more states on one side and one or more states on the other side. E. Any dispute between two or more states, etc. Appellate power. Under this, the Supreme Court can hear cases only when they are appealed against a High Court order. Advisory power. Under this, the President can request the Supreme Court to offer its opinion on any issue of law or fact. Pecuniary jurisdiction. Depending upon a monetary value of a case, it is required to recognize that which court can provide the decision. Territorial power. Protector of fundamental duties. Protector of Constitution. Appointment power. 13. Explain the methods of acquiring citizenship. According to the Indian Citizenship Act, 1955, acquisition of citizenship are as follows. By birth. Any person born in India or in Indian territory and is born after the 26th of January 1950 is a citizen of India. By descent. A person born outside India with at least one Indian parent is eligible for citizenship. By registration. Foreign nationals can apply for Indian citizenship through registration subject to certain conditions. By naturalization. Foreign nationals can acquire Indian citizenship through naturalization after meeting specific requirements. By incorporation. Special provisions. 14. Discuss the importance of Right to Information Act. The Right to Information RTI 2005 in India is a landmark legislation that empowers citizens to access information from public authorities. Importance of RTI. Creates good relationship. This act provides citizens with the freedom to seek access to critical information in times of need. Transform government. This act gives citizens the power to question public authorities and their work, thereby promoting transparency and demanding accountability. Empowering freedom rights. The Right Information Act also empowers the freedom rights as the citizens get right to ask any information they require. Good governance. The RTI Act brings together two crucial tools of transparency and accountability to ensure good governance. Reduce corruption. The Right to Information Act is considered landmark legislation in the fight against corruption. 15. State the fundamental duties of Indian Constitution. The fundamental duties of Indian citizens are outlined in Article 51A of Indian Constitution of India, which is part of Part A. The 42nd Amendment of Constitution adopted in 1976 also added to the list of fundamental duties. It includes to respect Constitution, national flag and national anthem, to protect unity of India, to protect and improve natural environment, to promote spirit of common brotherhood, to preserve our rich heritage, to follow noble ideals, to develop scientific temper and spirit of inquiry, to defend our motherland, to safeguard public property, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individuals and collective activities. The parents or guardians must provide education to 6 to 14-year children. 16. Write the preamble of Indian Constitution. The preamble to the Constitution of India is a brief introduction that sets the tone and outlines the objectives of the Constitution. Source: We the People of India. Emphasizes that the Constitution is a creation of the Indian people, rather than a gift from a monarch or a ruler. Nature: sovereign. India is a free and independent nation, with no external authority governing it. Secular. The state does not promote or favor any particular religion, and ensures freedom of religion and belief. Socialistic. Aims to achieve social and economic equality, and to regulate the means of production and distribution of resources. Democratic. Power is held by the people, either directly or through elected representatives. Republic. India is a republic, where the head of state is an elected representative, rather than a monarch. Goals: justice. Justice, social, economic and political, ensures equal access to opportunities, resources, and services for all citizens. Liberty. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship guarantees freedom of thought, speech, and religion. Equality. Equality of status and of opportunity, ensures equal treatment and opportunities for all citizens, regardless of caste, gender, religion, or background. Unity and integrity. Emphasizes the importance of national unity and integrity. Adopted, the 26th of November 1949. 17. Explain the powers and functions of Prime Minister. Formation of Council Minister. After assuming power, the Prime Minister prepares a list of ministers according to his will and advises the President to appoint them. He has a free hand in selection of ministers. Control of Cabinet Minister. The Prime Minister allocates portfolios to ministers and controls their working. If the Prime Minister is not satisfied with the working of a minister or if he finds him inefficient, then he can ask for his resignation. The Prime Minister can shuffle and reshuffle his ministry according to his requirement. Leader of the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Cabinet. He can call the meetings of Cabinet whenever necessary. He prepares the agenda for the meeting and controls it. All the decisions in the Cabinet are taken under his leadership. The Prime Minister coordinates the policies of his ministers. In case of conflict, he tries to resolve it. If not, he may ask for the resignation of the concerned cabinet. Appointment power. The Prime Minister has an important role in matters of appointment. Though it is the President who makes all appointments, it is done on the recommendation of Prime Minister. Head of the Parliament. Coordination between departments. Link between President and Cabinet Minister. Power to dissolve Lok Sabha. Decision-making power. International relation power. Part C. 3. Answer any one of the following question is not more than 150 words. 1x10 equals 10. 18. Analyze the directive principles of state policy. The directive principles of state policy contained in the Part 4 of the Constitution and contains from Article 36 to 51. It has been borrowed from Ireland Constitution. They can be classified as socialistic, Gandhian and liberal intellectual. The socialistic principles has the objective to achieve social welfare and it includes the following articles. Article 38. Promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order through justice, social, economic and political, and to minimize inequalities in income, status, facilities and opportunities. Article 39. Secure citizens. O right to adequate means of livelihood for all citizens. O equitable distribution of material resources of the community for the common good. O prevention of concentration of wealth and means of production. O equal pay for equal work for men and women. Article 39A. Promote equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. Article 41. In cases of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement, secure citizens. O right to work. O right to education. O right to public assistance. Article 42. Make provision for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. Article 43. Secure a living wage, a decent standard of living and social and cultural opportunities for all workers. Article 43A. Take steps to secure the participation of workers in the management of industries. Article 47. Raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living of people and to improve public health. The Gandhian principles are based on Gandhian ideology used to represent the program of reconstruction enunciated by Gandhi during the national movement. Under various articles, they direct the state to Article 40. Organize village panchayats and endow them with necessary powers and authority to enable them to function as units of self-government. Article 43. Promote cottage industries on an individual or cooperation basis in rural areas. Article 43b. Promote voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control and professional management of cooperative societies. Article 46. Promote the educational and economic interests of SCs, STs, and other weaker sections of the society and to protect them from social injustice and exploitation. Article 47. Prohibit the consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs which are injurious to health. Article 48. Prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves and other milch and draft cattle and to improve their breeds. The liberal intellectual principles reflect the ideology of liberalism. Under various articles, they direct the state to Article 44. Secure for all citizens a uniform civil code throughout the country. Article 45. Provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. Article 48. Organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines. Article 49. Protect monuments, places and objects of artistic or historic interest which are declared to be of national importance. Article 50. Separate the judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state. Article 51. O promote international peace and security and maintain just and honorable relations between nations. O foster respect for international law and treaty obligations. O encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. 19. The Lok Sabha is a stronger house than Rajya Sabha justify. The Rajya Sabha is called as the upper house of the parliament, or the elder house or even the council of states. The total members of Rajya Sabha consist 245 members, in which 12 members are directly nominated by President and other 233 members by indirect method. The total term of Rajya Sabha members is 6 years and it is called to be the permanent house. Whereas Lok Sabha is called as the lower house of parliament. The total members of Lok Sabha is 543 and the term of Lok Sabha members is 5 years. The Lok Sabha is stronger house than Rajya Sabha. There are some powers which are only exercised by the Lok Sabha, thereby making it more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. We can analyze it by the following information. Rajya Sabha can only criticize the government of India but cannot remove the government of India. The reason is, the constitution believes that the people of India are the ultimate authority. Representatives of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people, whereas representatives of Rajya Sabha are not directly elected by the people of India. The Council of Ministers is responsible only to the Lok Sabha and not to the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha cannot amend, reject, or initiate money bills. Lok Sabha exercises more power in money matters. Rajya Sabha cannot reject any money-related law or the budget of the government once it has been passed in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha can suggest changes in these laws which can be accepted or rejected by the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha can only delay it by 14 days. Any ordinary law must be passed in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. If there is a difference of opinion between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha regarding the law, then the final decision is taken through a joint session of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. However, the views of Lok Sabha are likely to prevail due to the superiority in the number of members in Lok Sabha. Therefore, we can conclude that Lok Sabha is stronger than Rajya Sabha. Part D. Answer any one of the following questions is not more than 400 words. 1x 15 equals 15. 20. Discuss the salient features of Indian Constitution. Written and lengthiest Constitution. Constitutions are classified into written, like the American Constitution, or unwritten, like the British Constitution. The Constitution of India is the lengthiest of all the written constitutions of the world. It is a very comprehensive, elaborate and detailed document. The Indian Constitution originally consisted of 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 9 schedules. Presently, it consists of a preamble, about 450 articles divided into 24 parts and 12 schedules. Preamble. The preamble to the Constitution is a reflection of the core constitutional values that embody the Constitution. It declares India to be a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic committed to justice, equality and liberty for the people. Partly rigid and partly flexible. The Constitution of India is neither rigid nor flexible but a synthesis of both. A rigid constitution is one that requires a special procedure for its amendment, while flexible constitution is one that can be amended in the same manner as ordinary laws are made. Parliamentary form of government. The Constitution of India has opted for the British parliamentary system of government rather than American presidential system of government. The parliamentary system is based on the principle of cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs, while the presidential system is based on the doctrine of separation of powers between the two organs. Directive principles of state policy. The directive principles of state policy contained in part of the Constitution set out the aims and objectives to be taken by the state in the governance of the country. According to B.R. Ambedkar, the directive principle of state policy is a novel feature of the Indian Constitution. They can be classified into three broad categories: socialistic, Gandhian and liberal intellectual. Fundamental rights. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution guarantees 6 fundamental rights to all the citizens. A. Right to equality, Articles 14 to 18. B. Right to freedom, Articles 19 to 22. C. Right against exploitation, Articles 23 to 24. D. Right to freedom of religion, Articles 25 to 28. A. Cultural and educational rights, Articles 29 to 30. F. Right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. The fundamental rights are meant for promoting the idea of political democracy. They operate as limitations on the tyranny of the executive and arbitrary laws of the legislature. Fundamental duties. By 42nd Amendment Act, Part A has been added to the Constitution, which enumerates certain fundamental duties of the citizens. Originally, 10 duties were enlisted in Clause J of Article 51A. Clause K, which imposes duty on parents, wards, has been added by the Constitution, 86th Amendment Act, 2002. Independent judiciary system. Independence of judiciary is essential for impartial adjudication of disputes between individuals, between union and state, between union, state and individuals, between union and states, or between states inter se. The Supreme Court stands at the top of the integrated judicial system in the country. Below it, there are high courts at the state level. This single system of courts enforces both the central laws as well as the state's laws. Single citizenship. In most of the federation, people have double citizenship, citizenship of the union and citizenship of one of the several states which form the union. Every citizen is the citizen of India and enjoys the same rights of citizenship no matter in which state he resides. Emergency power. The President is empowered to declare the three types of emergencies: national emergency under Article 352, President's rule under Articles 356 and 365, and financial emergency under Article 360. Secular country. The Constitution of India stands for a secular state. Hence, it does not uphold any particular religion as the official religion of the Indian state. The term secular was added to the preamble of the Indian Constitution by the 42 Amendment Act, 1976. Articles 25 to 28 of the Constitution give concrete shape to this concept of secularism. Borrowed Constitution. The position of Vice President, independent judiciary, removal of the High Court and Supreme Court judges, and fundamental rights are taken from the US Constitution. Fundamental duties were taken from the Russian Constitution. The ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity were borrowed from the French Constitution. 21. Evaluate the powers and functions of President of India. President is the first citizen of India. He is the nominal executive and also the head of the Constitution. To be qualified as a president, an individual must be a citizen of India and attain 35 years and also must be a member of Lok Sabha. The term of president is 5 years and he can be removed through a process called impeachment. Powers and functions of president. Legislative functions. The legislative power is constitutionally vested in Parliament of India and the president is at the apex. The legislative powers of the president can be enumerated as: A. The president summons both the houses of parliament and prorogues them. He can also dissolve the Lok Sabha. B. The president inaugurates the parliament by addressing it after the general elections and also the beginning of the first session each year. The presidential address on these occasions generally gives an outline of the new policies of the government. C. Money bills cannot be introduced in Lok Sabha without the prior consent of the president. D. All bills passed by the parliament can become laws only after the assent of the president. However, the president has the power to exercise veto or he may return the bill for reconsideration. After reconsideration, the bill is passed and presented before the president. With or without amendments, the president is bound to give his assent. A. When the parliament is not in session and if the government feels the need for immediate procedure or to meet unforeseen exigencies, the president can promulgate ordinances which have the same force and effect as laws passed by the parliament. Their continuance is subject to parliamentary approval within 6 months. F. The president nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha from fields of arts, science, literature or social service. He can also nominate 2 members of Anglo-Indian community to Lok Sabha, if he finds that the community is not adequately represented in the popular house. Executive powers. A. Government of India shall be expressed in the name of the President. B. The President appoints the Prime Minister and then appoints the Council of Ministers on his advice. C. The President is also responsible for making appointments of governors of states, the Attorney General of India, the Controller and Auditor General of India, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts of India, the Chairman and members of UPSC, ambassadors and High Commissioners to other countries. Financial powers. Money bills can be introduced in Lok Sabha only with President's consent as per Article 117. A. The President should see that the annual financial statement or budget including a supplementary budget is laid before the Parliament for its approval. Art 112. B. The President has the authority to appoint Finance Commission from time to time. C. The Consolidated Fund of India is at the disposal of the President. Withdrawal from this fund is done only with the permission of President. Judicial powers. A. The President appoints the Chief Justice of Supreme Court and other judges of Supreme Court on the advice of Chief Justice. He also appoints Chief Justice and other judges of High Courts. B. If the President considers a question of law or a matter of public importance has arisen, then he can seek for the advice of the Supreme Court. C. Article 72 empowers the President the power to grant pardon, reprieves, respites or remissions of punishment or to suspend, remit or commute the sentence of any person convicted of any offence. Military defence power. A. The President is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces of India. The President appoints heads of all 3 wings of defence forces, the Army, Navy and Air Force. B. The President can declare war or conclude peace, subject to the approval of the Parliament. Emergency power. The President is empowered to declare 3 types of emergencies. They are national, state and financial. 1. National emergency -352. 2. State emergency -356. 3. Financial emergency 360. Diplomatic power. A. All international treaties and agreements are negotiated and concluded on behalf of the President. However, in practice, such negotiations are usually carried out by the Prime Minister along with his cabinet. Such treaties are subject to the approval of the Parliament. B. The President represents India in international forums where such function is mainly ceremonial. C. The President appoints ambassadors and envoys to other countries and also receives diplomats from other countries by giving credence to their appointments. Thank you. Subscribe.